Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing Josh's Cheese Book Tag 2.0. This tag was created by Josh of Literary Gladiators in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the original Cheese Tag. Over the years, Josh has created a number of food-themed book tags, and those tags have always been a lot of fun to do. I will leave a link to Literary Gladiators in the show notes down below. Prompt number 1, Jarlsberg. A great retelling or great work with clear inspiration from another work. For this prompt, I'm going to go with The Seven Deadly Sins and Four Knights of the Apocalypse by Nakaba Suzuki. Both series are inspired by the Arthurian myths. In The Seven Deadly Sins, Princess Elizabeth of the Kingdom of Lyonesse in the land of Britannia goes in search of the Seven Deadly Sins after the Holy Knights have overthrown her father and instituted a reign of terror. Elizabeth finds Meliodas, the leader of the seven, and together they go in search of the other six as he takes up her cause. In Four Knights of the Apocalypse, four young superhumans, holy knights, come together to defeat a corrupted King Arthur after he has fallen to chaos. I really enjoy both series, and I really like Suzuki's take on and variations of the Arthurian myths. Prompt number 2, Comte. A soft-spoken, overlooked but wise work or writer. For this prompt, I'm actually going to go with a character rather than a work or writer, because my original choice for this prompt does not work. So my answer to this prompt is Miss Marple, as created by Agatha Christie. Miss Marple is an old lady who lives in the village of St. Mary Mead. She has the habit of stumbling upon or getting involved with a number of murder mysteries, which she solves. Miss Marple is very soft-spoken. She is often overlooked by the authorities until the very end, and she is incredibly wise to the ways of the world. Prompt number 3, Red Leicester. An immersive work that you wish you discovered much sooner. For this prompt, I'm going to return to comics, but this time American superhero comics with Teen Titans. In the 1980s, there were two major superhero teen books: the X-Men, or the Uncanny X-Men at Marvel, and the Teen Titans at DC. Both works became famous for incorporating a more soapy element to the storytelling. And while during my early years with comic books, I was aware of the Uncanny X-Men and collected quite a number of issues from the 80s, I did not become familiar with the Teen Titans until much later, and I regret that. I wish I had been as familiar with the Teen Titans back when I was originally collecting comics as I was later. Prompt number 4, Wensleydale. A sweet or heartfelt work involving an invention or scientific discovery. I don't really have an answer to this prompt, so I will move on to prompt number 5, Appenzeller. Question A, or prompt A, is an underrated work of Swiss literature. Now, I'm not entirely sure what is meant by underrated. Is this underrated in regards to the Swiss literary conversation, or is it more Swiss literature in translation? I've only read, to my knowledge, one work of Swiss literature, A Brief Homage to Pluto by Fabio Pastorla, who is a Swiss poet who writes in Italian. I'm not entirely sure how overlooked he is in either translation or in Swiss literary conversation. I would also like to read at some point Eurotrash by Christian Kracht, which, again, I'm not entirely sure whether or not he is overlooked or not, or underrated. Prompt number B is a work that makes you think of masculinity, and again, I don't really have an answer to this prompt, so I will move on to number 6, Mascarpone. Have you been to a silent book club? No, I have not. Question number 7, Pecorino Romano. A satisfying, memorable, straightforward work. This, I think, would be most episodic series like James Bond or Agatha Christie murder mysteries or any sort of cozy or not so cozy murder mystery. Basically, series fiction, I think, probably works well. Here, once you get the formula, there's not really much variation to it. Prompt number 8, Pepperjack. A work of horror that was mildly intense. For this, I'm going to go with The Devil Rides Out by Dennis Wheatley. It is a horror novel of the 1930s about a group of friends who try to rescue the youngest member of their friend group from a cult of magicians. Prompt number 9. Adele Putzkassa. Prompt A is a German book you would like to read. I'm currently circling around The World at First Light by Bernd Rueck, which is a history of the Renaissance and is translated from the German. Although I think Rueck might actually be Swiss and not German. I need to refresh myself on that. But the work itself is written in German. I'm also thinking seriously about A Belle Redemption of Kairos by Jenny Erpenbeck. I tried to read it last year and didn't have much success. And so I'm thinking of giving it another go this year. And also I would like to finally reread The Rut by Günter Grass. And I will echo Josh's call out to The Clown by Heinrich Boll. I read a short story of his in an anthology, and it got me interested in reading The Clown, but that book has languished in my Libris wish list for years now. So I'm not entirely sure if or when I will ever get to it. And prompt B, a book with a blue cover you would like to read, which, again, The World at First Light, because much of the cover is blue. Or at least the surrounding, kind of like the border area of the cover painting is blue. Prompt number 10, Feta. A work of ancient world literature that you still find relevant today. Of course, it would be the Iliad and the Odyssey. Prompt number 11, Chèvre. A French work written before 1900 that you feel is still relevant to today. I'm not really all that familiar with French literature, and especially French literature before 1900. Prompt number 12, Manchego. A book that you find is appropriate for any setting, school, general book club, silent book club, etc. Probably anything by Dickens, probably. I didn't really give this prompt much thought, or nothing's really immediately jumping to mind. But I would think probably any classic would work. Maybe North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. Bleak House would be good by Charles Dickens. Yeah. Moving on to prompt number 13. What is your favorite kind of cheese? Not mentioned in this prompt is cheddar, which is my favorite cheese. But of the cheeses mentioned in this prompt, I'm familiar with feta. I do like feta. It's been a while since I've had it. I do want to try mascarpone. There's a cake I want to make that utilizes mascarpone as an ingredient in the cake itself as well as in the frosting. And yeah, I think that's about it. And so finally, prompt number 14 is who do you nominate? So I will echo Josh in tagging Steve Donahue, who hasn't done tags in a while. And I would also like to tag Pat of Book Chat with Pat. So, and if you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged as well. So that's it for me today. I'm going to go and do some errands and see you tomorrow. So until then, BookTube, thank you. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.